Mm-mm.
Hello. Welcome. Welcome all. Right? Are you ready to take a journey? Take a journey consciously to the seat of your soul. That's the unknown. It's not like it's a universe that we got to flow through, that we got to imagine. You can take a journey at the seat of your soul while you're watching TV, right? Scientists found out that you can divert your mind and have a meditative moment if you divert from what you are consciously struggling with to just watching a comedy and laughing. And you tune out of what you're focused in so strategically that gives your body stress. You can go actually watch a Jackie Chan movie or any movie that makes you laugh, and it takes you away. But take it a little bit further. You have just embarked into the seat of your soul. You're just gone there with something that's formed, yes. But guess what? The seat of your soul will tell you, I'm here to have fun. I put on my backpack. I got all dressed up as you. I got a pat on the butt from mommy and daddy. Mommy and daddy Cosmos. Matter of fact, they decided to travel with me. They decided to come with me as the essence of me. And I'm here to be you and allow you to be me. It's not a one-way street. And if you want to watch that movie that makes you laugh, I'm going to laugh with you. But just explain what laughing is. Embody me with it. That goes for music and your art and your reading books and your designing clothes and you sitting and looking up at the sky endlessly, even when people are going, what the hell are you looking at? What are you so focused on? The position of the moon hasn't changed, but you're still focused on it. That's your meditative moment to explain to your higher being or your soul or your spirit or whatever you want to call it, or give it a little bit more information to your matrix or your illusory mind of who you are. Because your higher being came here to be you in physical form. It knows all about what it is, where it came from. And if you want to ask those embodying questions and sit at the seat of your soul and say, who are you? How are you representing me? Your higher being will say, you asked the right question. Let's deep dive. How about this? I collaborate with you. I show you a little of me and you show me a little of you. That's what we're here to do today. Take another deep dive, go into the unknown, make it a little bit more known. I guarantee you there is always some unknown to make known. Even when these episodes end, there'll be something else that the divine says, all right, Marcus and Sandee, here's another collaboration. Right? So are you ready? I know I'm ready today. So here we go. Take the journey consciously to the seat of your soul. As humans becoming, we are multisensory. I wrote this morning, or not I. The divine wrote it through me, and I'm sharing it with you. Take the conscious journey to the seat of your soul. As humans becoming multisensory, we're becoming multisensory each and every moment, and transforming our energy into physical form through true intentions. What is your intention? Why did you show up here today? Let's embark on that journey. Are you ready? Do you have your spaceship called you ready to travel? So I'm going to hand it to Marcus. He's going to give us the countdown. All right, so to speak. Marcus, hi, welcome. Co-creator, co-collaborator. Here we go.
Hello, wholeness, and namaste, and welcome to everybody. And thank you, Sandee, for being here for another episode of Ascending Beyond Limitations. And I would just like to give an offer to everybody. And the offer is some beautiful light language that I would just like to freely give. So for anybody that would like to receive, just feel free to open yourself up. Just acknowledge that you're open to receiving. And if you would like to not receive, then you can acknowledge that as well. Uti ana sutu achiki anaya sutu ataya ya shukuti ana sutu ata iti amata uhukuti etiata tu usushi nikiata yata tuchi ata ya sutu kuti yasina tu shukuata itiana usutu iatia mukutu ata ya shikitu ata isiata Yamato shiki ata tsututupa yakineto ata uki nesuto ta hisitu hashi to ata uhutai eta ushu yi anato ata yapiti ato ushukoto iti eta. Go ahead and take 3 conscious deep breaths, full deep breaths through the body. Now just allow yourself to be still and be with the flow, the current within. Stay with the breath as normal. And then bring your hands to center, together at the heart. Take one final deep breath. Namaste.
Yota na akwa ata aya sosoku uwa ndakakai se sushi no tukua. Se na ku ate e suka ia na ku ate shoshona kakia. E makwale ki. Juso no toku ai se na here. A toku ate ki sian toku u ka ia se. Sono ku unta ia se sono ku utai. E to chuku. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You are wholeness, regardless of whether you believe what you hear from here or not. You get to enjoy life. Let life flow. Life shows up for you, asking you to give it. direction. But why now is say who Korea share no ku ocean na gua leme. I took idea share shoku anikian. The river flows both ways. You can take one way that resists, and you can take another way that's non-resistant. It's your choice. You choose the mountain you climb. You choose the path you walk. The mountain you choose is not right or wrong. The path you choose is not right or wrong. It's how you feel about the path that you're walking. It's how you feel about the mountain that you're climbing. It's how you feel about the spaceship of you that you're traveling in. The destination, it doesn't matter. It's the journey. As soon as you reach the destination, you will feel an ah, and then you will start a new journey. Just that quick. The universe is in you. It doesn't matter how many times you've done this. It matters about the now that you're doing. Your wholeness, no matter what you do. Your root has always been supported. You just need to know it. This journey was started because the divine seeked itself in all of its of all of its cells, everywhere that it could go. And it chose a vehicle called you, called me, and then called it itself. When you're seeking yourself, it will be dark. But I gave you a light switch that you can turn off and on when you want it. It's called you. The very essence of you. I have gone nowhere. I have always been here. Are you ready? Let's go. Ashe.
Ashe. Thank you.
Here we go. Here we go. So the divine says, let's start again where we left off so that we can keep going. The questioner says, could you give me the last names of Albert and Martin? If you were here on Sunday, you knew Albert's last name was Schweitzer And Martin's last name was Luther King. The questioner said, I thought that was correct. I wasn't sure. Can you give me the same type of information about that we have been getting here with respect to unmanifested interacting between self and gadgets and toys and intervention? Now, we talked about this in book 1, and the divine brought me to book 2 to explain a little of what book 1 was saying. But now we're on book 2. So we're going to listen actively. Ra says, I am Ra. In this particular instance, we again concentrate for the most part in the orange ray. Marcus can explain that a little bit better for you. The orange ray. And in the yellow ray energy centers. All right. Ross says, in a negative sense, many of the gadgets among your people, and that's at the time that this book was written, this information was channeled. We've grown and expanded, and we still have our toys. All right. He says, among your people, that is which you call your communication devices and other distractions, such as the less competitive games. He's already talking about the games that Game Boys and all this stuff. Okay? Those are our communication devices. Game Boys and everything that we started enjoying. And don't get you wrong, Ross says it's okay to enjoy. But listen actively. He says, such as these less competitive games may be seen to have the distortion of keeping the mind, body, spirit complex unactivated, so that the yellow and orange ray activity is much weakened, thus carefully deceasing the possibility of eventually moving to the green way activation. Growth and expansion is going to happen. We just have to see how much in each area we're going to stay in. Because we can enjoy something, but when it becomes a distraction to our growth and expansion to the next level, we have to go inward and decide where we are with that. But there is distraction, and it can turn to distortion. Ray says, others of your gadgets may be seen to be tools whereby the entity explores the capabilities of its physical and mental complexes, and in some cases, the spiritual complex, that's you and me, thus activating the orange ray in what you call your team sports and in other gadgets, such as your modes of transportation. Team sports. Have you got there yet? See, it used to be you could get a team that worked together. There wasn't just one central person that was the carry it all. There was the team supporting each other, playing with each other, supporting each other, taking all of the team, taking responsibility for winning and or losing. But when you were a little kid, Ra is telling me to tell you, remember when it was just for joy? It was just for the sheer joy of it. You went to go play. You went to go hit the ball around or bounce the ball around. It didn't become competitive. These may be seen to be ways of investigating the feelings of power. More especially, I love the way he says that, more especially power over others, or a group power over another group of other selves. We're all one, but we got to have power over another version of ourselves. Hence, me going out to play volleyball, and I have to be one-upping Marcus, my other self. I'm in competition with my team member. Why? Because I want to control the situation. It's about me. This is just the example. Marcus is the other self of me. We're wholeness. I remember saying to Marcus, I said, oh, I love the fact that when we had this concept together. I told him what I thought I would love for my concept to be, to have this conversation. And he said, I would love it too. I think we should do this again. Because we've done it before, and then we got sidetracked with life. And I thought, because he was the creative one, he was the one that put this all together. He did everything, and he felt through me my embodiment. I thought he's the lead, and I'm the co. And he said to me, no, we're co-hosts. I'm a host and you're a host, and we're collaborating this together. He brought me back to center. We're not in competition with each other. We're not one is better than the other. He brought me back to one. Wholeness, oneness. This is what Ra is talking about. That's just an example. That's a real life example. I don't even know if he knows that wholeness that he gave me in that lesson was something that I was going through. I didn't even know it was a little teeny gray shadow walk. It wasn't a dark walk. It was bringing me back to my wholeness. Right? Okay. Other selves. When you're looking at others, or in collaboration with others, or working with others, or being an employee with your other selves at your jobs, how do you look at them? Do you feel you're in competition with your other selves? Do you feel they're in competition with you? Because competition is just about control. Okay? That's all Ra wants you to know about your tools. Your tools aren't bad. They aren't bad or good unless you make them that way. The questioner says, what is the general overall effect of, here we go, my favorite thing, television on our society with respect to this catalyst? I remember when I was growing up, television was we sat down as a family and we watched television, and we talked and we laughed. Then all of a sudden, somewhere about my 20s, maybe my 30s, TV was the boob tube, and you didn't need to watch it anymore because somebody decided that for you. But the divine was talking to you through every communication device that we have created. All right? Take what resonates, what Ross says. Take what resonates for you. Because you can be a person that hasn't watched TV for 20 years, but that doesn't make you better than your other selves because they watch their favorite TV shows. It makes them are having an expression of life that they're enjoying. I'm reading this for the first time just like you are. So take what resonates for you, leave the rest. I know I'm going to do that. Ra says, I am Ra. Without ignoring the green ray attempts of many to communicate via this medium such information of truth and beauty as may be helpful, we must suggest that the sum effect of this gadget is that of distraction and sleep. He says, some may use this to keep you distracted and keep you asleep, or keep you in amnesia. It's a possibility. He says some. He says that may be the effect of the gadgets. But infinite possibilities are always there. Take what resonates for you. We're not here to argue. Just open your eye to an infinite possibility. The questioner says, can you give me the same type of information that we are working on now with respect to wars and rumors of wars? When I was in Sunday school in the Old Testament of the Bible, I remember them talking about wars and rumors of wars, and stressing that what part of the world that was in. But there's wars and rumors of wars all around the globe. Which ones are we going to focus on? Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Ra says, I am Ra. You may see this in relationship to your gadgets. This war and self relationship is fundamental perceptions of the maturity or maturing entity. Everyone has a perception. It's all about the entity and how it's maturing and how they see the instruments that they're using. You have a perception. You get to sift and sort through what you hear through your communication devices. You get to either sit in judgment of what's being given to you and not discern it, or you get to discern it. It's not the gadgets that are the problem. It's how we use them. It's not the gun that kills anybody. It's the person that pulls the trigger. Right? I'm not being a commercial for gun, having a gun. I'm just giving you an example. But I know that there might be some that might take this version, this point that I said, and go use it for their momentum. But you're going to do what you're going to do. Regardless, I can't really give a fuck. Okay? It's the truth. It's an infinite possibility that somebody else took a creation and used it in distortion. It's about that individual's spiritual, physical, and mental growth. Ra says, there is a great chance to accelerate in whatever direction is desired. There is a great chance to accelerate in whatever direction is desired. One may polarize negatively by assuming bellicose, I've never heard that word, B-E-L-L-I-C-O-E, attitudes for whatever reason.
What was it?
Pardon?
What was it?
The word is BELLICOSE.
Bellicose means demonstrating aggression and willingness to fight.
Wars and rumors of wars. Here is what, okay, I'll give you an example. Okay, here's an example. I'll use me. When I was studying political science, I had to opt out of that class because a lot of shit just didn't make sense to me. I've always been that type of kid, always asking questions and making my teachers, driving my teachers nuts. So this is about high school political science. And the way the teacher was explaining it about economics and money and wars, whenever we had a need, and this was based in the US, but ventured out into the world because we were known as the power to other countries. My teacher said we were looked upon as the one that everybody went to when their countries were in stress, distress, right? So, but what our country would do, according to how he shared it with the class and with me, is when they needed money, when we needed money, we went and found where there might be a rumor of a war, and we assisted without taking responsibility for that war to happen, i.e., money is guns. That's currency. You know, we'll support you. Don't worry. We got your back. Literally, this is what the teacher, because he was a cool teacher, right? Little did he know he was giving me information to understand not only the government, but how money works. If there wasn't a rumor of war, we go find a war that was already existing, whether it was civil unrest or whatnot, and we go make some money. Why? Because guess what? We have to have our stores, and we have to have our beauty supply stores. We have to have our economics had to keep going. So if we're pissed at war is a currency. It's a vibrational currency that turned into a form. I don't say it's right. With my feelings and my emotions about it, as far as I'm concerned, it's not an energy that I want to support. And guess what? I bring that information forward for me. I take what resonates for me. You can leave what doesn't resonate for you. But it doesn't matter who's in office. If you need money, if we need money for our to build our money up in our country, it doesn't matter if there's a Republican or a Democratic presidency. War is where they're going to go. And guess what? In war, everybody gets hurt. It is not just children. Can you see I'm passionate about it? Because I don't want to cry right now. What I see right now is we're so controlled. This is what Ra is saying. We are so controlled by how they paint the picture for us that we can't discern it for ourselves. We're either going to say, you're right, and I'm right and you're wrong. But the whole picture is it's been done for eons. As long as human beings have been doing this incarnation, it's been happening. So Ra is saying it's not your tools that are wrong, it's how you use them. It's not just a physical how you use your tool. How are you using your tools mentally, verbally, vibrationally? So Ross says, one may find oneself in the situation one might find oneself in the situation of war and polarize somewhat towards the positive, activating orange, yellow, and then green rays by heretic. No, I put an R in there. I put a T in there. Heroic. If you may call them this. Actions take to preserve the mind, body, spirit complexes and of other selves. It's about what we call it. Example, we in the US may call it we're heroically going to the aid of, even though behind the scenes we might have been the instigators. It's all about how we perceive it. And get this, we are having an expression. There is no right or wrong as far as the divine. The divine is just feeling the experience of itself being you, whether you're in judgment of or whether you're in discernment of. Ra is just saying the tools that we created are not the problem. It's how we use them. So he says, finally, one may polarize very strongly third ray by expressing the principle of universal love at the total expense of any distortion towards involvement in bellicose actions. In this way, the entity, you or me, may become a conscious being in a very brief span of your time-space. This may be seen to be what you would call a traumatic progression. It is to be noted that among your entity, a large percentage of progression has a catalyst trauma. We're going to live life. We're going to feel it. We're going to see that sometimes we can actually see the catalyst, but they tell us what the catalyst is, and then we just go with that flow of what they tell us it is. And then we feel the trauma afterwards. Right? So I'm going to give it back to Marcus so he can explain to you what Ra is talking about the yellow ray and the orange ray. In retrospect, yes.
Wonderful. Thank you for all that. Lots of good content to touch on. And to start, I'm going to start with talking about two of our chakras in our 7 chakra system. Now, there's more than 7 chakras, that's for sure. And we have chakras all over our body, actually. And those are called our meridian centers or our meridian points. Those are basically the physical versions of our metaphysical chakras. So this is why when we open up and activate our meridian centers, there's this substance called chi that comes out of it. And that chi is a conscious spiritual substance that then kickstarts our electrical system, and it kickstarts the consciousness within the living parts of our being, which are all over our cells, our atoms, and everything else. So when it comes to chakras are in your light body. Your light body is your next layer or your next body from your physical body. And then there are more layers outside of that. There's many layers within your aura that make up your whole aura and your whole entire human being. And the light body, due to it being the next body from your physical body, it is basically the holographic blueprint. It is the etheric mapping and matrix and coding system that binds to your physical human or your physical human avatar to be able to even have existing consciousness, to be able to have dimensions of light, to be experienced and expressed through our vessel. Without it, then our vessel is just a dead vessel that has nothing moving through it, that has nothing giving it life to work. That's why when we quote unquote die or transcend from these physical bodies, we then unplug all of that. We unplug our light body from the physical body. We unplug all the other dimensions, our mental body, our emotional body, our spiritual body from that physical body. So then that physical body then just becomes straight death, and it starts decomposing because there's no more life consciousness flowing through it. So when we are living and we're alive, our light body is that bridge, it's that blueprint system in order for us to be able to experience mental, emotional, spiritual, astral, and beyond. And the chakras are in your light body. So they are part of your metaphysical body. Therefore, they are kind of in between physical, in between pure spiritual light, which is why they're called metaphysical. So these chakras are wheels of energy or wheels of light. That's what chakra means in Sanskrit. And these wheels, they're in front of your body, and then they're also behind your body. And then due to that, they vortex through your body as well. So you got to think of it from an energy standpoint. Energy moves through physicality. So that energy body is through you, it's around you. And the chakras in the front and the back, and then those wheels or discs rotate, creating vortexes that move through your physical body. Those vortexes in the center create your glands and your organs throughout your body. And those are the physical manifestations of the chakras. So you can heal your organs and your glands by doing chakra work. Vice versa, you can help heal your chakras by doing gland and organ work, detoxing your liver, cleansing your intestines, cleansing your thyroid. Things like that can help activate the chakras as well. So I just wanted to give that to you guys so you guys can have like a real in-depth awareness of what we're speaking on. You know, there's a lot of very, very like surface level chakra talk out there, and it's like a trendy thing. But beneath the trends, there's ancient knowledge within it that actually has a lot of power and self-awakening that we can utilize if we become truly aware of the finer details of what these chakras really are, rather than just a new age cliche. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some graphics that I made myself. And the first one is the sacral chakra. So the sacral chakra is located right below the navel or the belly button. And then each chakra has a mantra with it. And that mantra is a vibrational resonance that you're able to vocalize that will help with the frequency of that chakra. So it's just like doing an Om. When you do Om, that's actually the mantra for the crown chakra, which is why Om is known as the universal mantra, because the crown chakra is your universal connection. So the sacral is Vam. So what you would do for that is you just take a deep breath in. Then when you vocalize, it'd be like Vam. And when you do that and you continue to repeat that, you're literally resonating and stirring up the frequency of the sacral chakra, which then brings you over into the frequency of the sacral. So each chakra resonates at specific frequencies, which make it what it is with its characteristics. And this also is on a universal scale. So you can correlate a chakra with a color, with a musical note, with a frequency, with planets, with foods, and all these different things, and they all correlate with each other. And so when you're tapping into the orange ray or the sacral, these are the primary energies that you're focusing on and working with. It is tapping into your sexuality and your life force. It is being able to be in your sensuality and your pleasure center. So being able to feel your emotions, being able to sense and feel the information that is coming through your being. If you're blocked up in those areas, then you'll have a difficult time feeling emotions, or you'll have a difficult time being able to receive and feel the information that is coming through you. Now, it's also your inner child energy. So this is where your innocence is. This is where you're tapping into joyful and playful energy. And then this is also where our divine feminine energy begins within our being. As in, this is where we start cultivating our inner creativity. This is where we start cultivating our inner nurturing energy. And through that cultivation process, by having healthy boundaries and treating yourself sacredly, you're able to raise that kundalini, or raise that cultivating life force or sexual life force into energy that can be manifested and used in a co-creative manner, rather than just allowing it to spill out everywhere. And then lastly, it's also the center of our relationships. So this is where we develop, and this is where we have conscious relationships, is in the sacral orange center. Now, the last thing I'm going to touch on here is what happens if we're overactive or we have blocks in that center. Because I'm not sure if Ra touches on it, but some overactivations is when we're in the extreme of that color ray, and we're utilizing that ray in an extreme manner rather than a balanced manner. And when we do that with the sacral, the orange, this could be having leaking of sexual energy or sexual immaturity of yourself. This could also be being overtly affectionate to unhealthy outlets. And then this could be extremely immature. So just having extreme immaturity, not being able to even have any groundedness to being able to discern, or to be able to have a grounded nature with yourself when it comes to where you are, and just not being able to be appropriate in the times that you need to be. And then if we're underusing the orange ray, this could be from results of sexual trauma, emotional wounds, having no passion, creative blocks, being afraid of intimacy, struggling to have fun, and fear of being seen. So those are all things that can manifest if we are depleted and underusing our orange ray. So those are some things about the orange ray. And then I'll go ahead and show you guys a little bit about the yellow ray as well, since that's being brought up. So the yellow ray is the solar plexus. Solar plexus is the next chakra upwards from the sacral. And this is right in the stomach or the abdomen. And then the mantra for that one is Ram. And that's actually based off of Ra, R-A-M. And, you know, Ra represents the sun. Solar plexus is our inner sun. So when you do the mantra Ram, you're activating Ra within yourself in your solar plexus. Then traits, 528 hertz. And then the organs and glands, stomach, liver, and gallbladder. So if you're someone struggling in those areas, you can actually cleanse and bring restoration to those organs with the solar plexus. And then this is where you have willpower and inner strength, confidence, self-esteem, your gut instinct, where you start to develop the ego, self-control, and decision-making. And then if you're overusing or you're being extreme in your overactiveness in this yellow ray, this can be egotistical or full of self. This could be demanding of others, being possessive, overly competitive, and ambitious. So you may see that there's been quite a bit of figures, and even some figures mentioned in this book, in the first book, that likely could have been overactive in this yellow ray. When you think about the type of things that they did on this planet, you know, egotistical, full of self, demanding of others, being possessive, being overly competitive and ambitious. There's many examples that have been talked about in this book. And then blockages, if you're underactive in the yellow ray. This could be from judging, criticizing, low self-esteem, loss of will to live, digestion and diabetes, quitting quickly, identifying with the world as who we are and our value and worth, and then depending upon others for your self-worth. So that's a little bit about the orange ray and the yellow ray, or you can say the sacral chakra and the solar plexus chakra. Back to you.
Wonderful, right? Wonderful that these higher beings, these entities that have, you call them your angels. We've just been told to call them, aliens or extraterrestrials, but they are a part, an expression of the divine. From what, if we're looking at our world, our outer world, we're given that ability through our ego center, and ego is not being said as a bad word. That's just the label that someone gave our vibrational center that connects our unconscious. And unconscious means that we're taking on the view of the world continuously, unconsciously. It's being stored, and our ego is that energy that connects our information center to our conscious action in the world, and it's giving us that information. Well, when we're being shown outside of our world, our little globe, and we're looking at the information that we're being given through someone else's lens of what the galaxy looks like, and then there possibly everything else has to be alien to us, as opposed to looking at what Ra says, our other selves, the possibility of our other selves in other galaxies, other dimensions, other timelines. Those are our other selves. Those are our other parts of our wholeness. And we get there through our chakras. That's our energy cog. It turns counterclockwise, and when certain levels of it gets clogged up, then everything doesn't quite move right. It's not in alignment. And you go, oh, there she goes with that spiritual mumbo jumbo alignment. Well, you think of everything that works in our physical world, a conveyor belt. If there is one link out of place in a conveyor belt, what happens? It stops. Think of you being in a mall on an escalator. If there's one link that's not moving correctly, what happens? It stops. They have to come and they have to put the little barrier that says you can't use this till we fix it. And then you go, shoot. Now I got to find another way around it, but it stops. Well, what Ra is saying is that if you're active and utilizing like Marcus has said, overactive in one area of your chakras, you can clog yourself up. If you're underactive in one area of your chakras, you can clog things up. There's a balance. That's all Ra is saying. Ra is saying, where's your balance with your tools? There's nothing wrong with creating the tools. There's nothing wrong with the higher beings coming and wanting to express certain feelings on their tools. Get this, their tools are the polarity. the polarity stream. We call it higher and lower, but it's streaming energy. And they get to come here and play and go, all we know is total unconditional love. And now they have this instrument that they can feel what is. In order for them to know the physicalities of love, they have to express or dive into the physicality of the energy of hate or dislike. And then they had a higher being that said, I'll come and be that energy for you as you play. The higher you just had to remember how to play in it, which means that they had to come from that amnesia state or that veiled state and learn and share with you the playground. And you were given the wheels of the cog called your energy center, and all you had to do was keep it balanced. And as your higher being became less and less veiled, then it could join the playground and said, okay, I'm here, I'm ready to play. Here we go. Take that journey consciously to the seat of your soul and say, come play with me. It doesn't mean that your energy center has to always be in alignment, but it means that when it gets out of alignment, you can check yourself. That's all. It's not sitting there judging you saying, if you don't get it right, Sandra, you're going to go to hell. It's not doing that. It's saying, check yourself, Sandra. How are you out of alignment? So then the questioner says, you just used the term third ray in that statement. Was that the term you meant to use? You know, he's looking at Ra saying, are you sure you meant to say that? The gall. No question is a wrong question. Ra says, I am Ra. We intended the green ray. Our difficulty lies in our perception of red ray and violet ray as fixed. Oh, there's going to be some more rays that Marcus gets to tell us about, right? Did Ra and the divine mean for this to be a learning lesson? Hell to the yes. So Ra says, thus the inner rays are those which are varying and are to be observed as those indications of seniority. Say that word twice. I've always had a problem with that word. Seniority in the attempts to form a harvest. Remember, this is about harvesting. And it's not like harvesting. It's kind of harvesting, meaning growth, expansion, getting to one point, taking up what you know, and then going, okay, next. Harvesting yourself, growth, expansion, to the next ascension. Harvesting, shifting, growing, expanding, evolving, and then going back to the center point of view and doing something new. That's why there's infinite possibilities. Harvesting. I know you might say harvesting meaning, okay, once I've done it, they're going to take me away, take me back to my planet. That's a possibility as well. Okay? So I'm going to read the question again and read the statement again. The questioner says, you just used the term third ray in that statement. Was that the term you meant to use? I am Ra. We intended the green ray. Our difficulty lies in our perception of red ray and violet ray as fixed. Thus, the inner rays are those which are varying and are to be observed as those indications of seniority in the attempts to form a harvest. Questioner says, would the red ray, an intense red ray, be used as an index for seniority in incarnation as well as an intense violet ray? Okay, so now you kind of understand what might be the term of a type of harvest as incarnation. Are you guys asking, why do I keep incarnating? You're assuming that this formed body keeps doing the incarnation. Like Marcus just said, this body, once its soul separates from the body just deteriorates and goes back to the wholeness of Mother Earth or Gaia. She takes us in. Hence, I've always had the question, why do we need a coffin? I always asked my mother that, and she said, dear, I don't know why. And then my older brother said, because it's about money. A coffin almost costs as much as a car. My older brother said, I don't know why they don't cremate us and give us to the ocean. I think it was supposed to be that way. And then it took me to a movie. I always like Viking movies. Oh yes, are we about to go there? Because they honored the body, they honored the spirit, they honored the separation. And they gave the body through alchemization, fire, they gave it back to Mother Earth. For me, that was my understanding. Take what resonates. I've told my kids, when it's my time to separate from body and earth, I don't want to be in a coffin. Okay, that's me. That's not you. Ra said, I am Ra. This is particularly correct in the graduation or harvesting to fourth density positive. Remember, our higher beings have a choice to move up the polarity to merge back with the divine. Take what resonates. You might believe it, you might not. They get to choose from the polarity of positive polarity, which is service to others. Therefore, you're serving self, you. I finally got what that means, what Ra meant. Service to self is service to wholeness. And I am part of the wholeness. And then there's a service to the negative polarity, which is service to self only, at the cost of everybody taking care of self. The negative polarity. You get to take from others what others work for. Here's an example. Instead of you working for your money, you take that instrument, that tool that you have, that gun, and you point it at somebody else and says, give me all you got. That's the negative polarity. Not a wrong or a right, it's a negative polarity because the higher beings were given the polarities as their tools. And if they didn't learn it the first time, in the next incarnation, they're gonna try again. It doesn't have to be a generational thing. It just could be that they're incarnating on Earth consciousness's playground called school and learning a lesson. So Ross says, this is particularly correct. In the graduation or harvesting to 4th density positive, the red ray is seen only as that. Okay, let me turn the page. There's a comma there. It says, which being activated is the basis for all that occurs in the vibratory levels, the sum of this being violet ray energy. We're moving up. We've got these chakras in us, but we've got the quantum field of the rays or the vibration or the octaves of the divine outside of us. Our higher beings got use of that. They know what to do with it. They know how to utilize it. Sit at the seat of your soul consciously and ask your higher being, how do I get there? What do I need to know about it? How does it resonate with me for my highest and greatest good of me growing and learning? You don't have to die to have access to these conscious levels of maturity. You don't even ever have to leave 3rd density. You just get to access it within and utilize your that consciousness to see 3rd density from a different lens. Ra goes on to say, this violet ray is the only consideration for 4th density positive. In accessing the harvestable 4th density negative, the intensity of the ray, as well as the orange and yellow rays, is looked upon quite carefully as a great deal of stagma, S-T-A-M-I-A. I hope I said that right. Stigma. And energy of this type is necessary for negative progression. You can look at it as, in order for higher beings to feel the lower polarity of those rays, they're going to sit inside of negative contrast. Stigmas and looking at yourself negatively and listening to people tell you you're worthless and you'll never be anything, and looking at the world as chaotic. And where do I fit in there? If the world is chaotic, I must be chaotic. Why do I feel this way? Distortions. If you have an up, you will have a down. And there's a reason for you having it. Through your growth, through your learning processes, and through your harvesting or your graduation. He goes on to say, or they go on to say, it is extremely difficult to open the gateway to intelligent infinity from the solar plexus center. If you're stuck in the solar plexus center, you can't open a gateway to your crown. You have to find out why you're stuck. You have to find out why you're in the lower polarity of these vibrational rays that help you to grow, expand, shift, become, evolve, and then go back to one. And when you go back to one, maybe in that healing, you have moved up your polarity. You, from the inside. And inside meaning your inner being. But you can't get to your crown chakra from your root chakra or your solar plexus or your sacral. They work together in harvesting you. Oh, here comes this word again. Oh, you spiritual people, alignment. This is necessary for harvest in fourth density negative. In order to move from fourth density negative into a fourth density positive, you have to grow, expand, shift, become, evolve, and go back to one. So let's go back to Marcus so Marcus can explain to us these outer rays. The red ray.
And the violet ray as well.
And the violet ray as well. Why not? You have to understand through what the divine has given. Understand that the divine has given this information for eons. People have written it and grew and expanded it. So yeah, we're looking at something on Google, and yes, you could go there too, but do you have the capabilities of understanding it? Maybe the divine gave someone the capability to explain it to you so that it resonates in exactly the language that you need to hear it in. Hence, a scientist who awakens to the fact that their higher being is online will be able to talk to other scientists and explain it using the terminology that resonates with them.
Yeah, definitely.
So back to Marcus. Marcus!
Thank you. So I do have graphics made for all 12 chakras. If anybody's ever interested, you could reach out and I can send you over my own authentic graphics that I made for them. And then also, I do have a whole entire series about the light body and chakras on my YouTube channel, which I've mentioned a few times throughout this series, called Light Body Awareness 101. So you guys can always check that out as well. Full in-depth teaching, step-by-step about what the chakras are, and then individually each of the 12 chakras and their relation to us. But in this moment, I'll go ahead and pull up my root chakra graphic that I have. So the root chakra is the red ray. And this is our base survival foundation chakra for our human physical life. So it's located at the base of the spine or in the genital area as well. And this is basically one of two of our entering and exit points for our whole entire system or our whole entire human physical system. And number two is the one that we'll be touching on directly after, which is the violet ray, the crown chakra. So they're basically kind of like lids, so to say, to the bottom and the top of our human being that allow certain energies to be able to come through our center middle column or our balancing area. And the root chakra is more directly connected to your physicality of your human life. It is also the direct connection to the Mother Earth. So through the root chakra, we ground and anchor into the planetary grid system of Mother Gaia. And if this is not open, this is not activated, this isn't working properly, then we can be ungrounded. And groundedness is something that I actually last taught in the light body awareness teaching, is what grounding is and its importance with our everyday functioning. So then the crown chakra, which we'll cover in a moment, that is your direct connection to the heavens, your direct connection to the higher dimensions, the God, your higher self, your higher guides, things of that nature, the Father energy. So when we get to the root chakra here, it is at the base of the spine. Mantra is LAM, L-A-M. Same deal with the other mantras. And then it resonates at 396 hertz. Color is red. And then the characteristics that the root chakra allows you to experience through your human avatar is, this is where it stores anger. This is where it stores resentment, fear, and pain. So if we are holding on to energies that create these type of energies, it gets stored in our root chakra. And then in that root chakra, those blockages can create ungroundedness, instability, feeling insecure, feeling like we are in scarcity or lack. I mean, it's very simple stuff when we really become aware of it. It's like, yeah, I'm holding on to anger, resentment, fear, and pain. More times than not, yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling scarce. I'm feeling lack. I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling depressed. So then we have grounding and stability. So when this chakra is active and clear and in balance and harmony, then it allows us to have direct connection to groundedness and stability. Now, when I say stability, I mean the stability within yourself. So being stable in your thoughts, being stable in your emotions, being stable in your physical body, and being so secure and stable that you're not in fear of taking the next step. You're not worried about what others are thinking. You're not worried about having the next food on your plate or where the money's coming in, because you're truly grounded and anchored to the infinite abundance that the mother grows and births for us, unlimited and unlimited to supply. Infinite abundance is continuously flowing through you and me when we open our root chakra and allow that connection to be fluid and clear. And you know the difference. You'll know the difference when you're in it and when you're not in it. And for me, it's all about experience more than anything. Pay attention to what you experience before and after you do a root chakra cleanse or a root chakra practice. See the difference in how you're feeling emotionally and within your thoughts and yourself. So then if you're overactive and you're in the extremes of overusing the red ray, it can result into being lethargic or abrasive, being edgy or having a lack of patience, and then being on overdrive and being a workaholic. So next, if you're blocked, it could be easily defensive, scattered and emotionally unstable, past pains of your life overtaking your present, money and career issues, disassociation from your human life, and having a wild nervous system. So these are overactivations and blockages that can manifest in our human life through the red ray, our root chakra. And like I said, you guys can go really in depth with this stuff at your own pace and really take notes and see a whiteboard teaching if you check out the Light Body Awareness series. And then we have the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is going to be the violet ray. If I can find it in here. There it is. So the crown chakra is going to represent the violet ray of light. And it's located at the top of the head. The mantra, as I stated earlier, is Om. So the universal Om is the mantra for the crown. The crown's traits, 963 hertz. And keep in mind too that these frequencies, you guys can literally go on YouTube and type in 963 hertz, and you'll find list after list of crown chakra meditation musics, crown chakra tuning forks, crown chakra singing bowls, all attuned to 963 hertz. And of course, you'll find other combinations out there as well. So it connects you with the violet ray. And this is the synergy of your physical and mental energies coming together. It is the streamline to the spirit realm or to the higher realms. It is the portal for receiving downloads and download codes from light. And then it is where we have a higher sense of unified peace in the galactic and universal scale. So if we are overactive in the violet ray, this can develop into having spiritual ego highs, spiritual bypassing, being polarized too far into the light, causing neglection of the shadows, neglection of the human life, and then overstimulation from energy and downloads. If you're having blockages in the crown, this violet center, you could have low physical function due to not having enough light. When I say light, I mean divine light flowing through you. Then it can also be confusion, then lack of connection with source or a higher self. So that's the root chakra and the crown chakra. The two different main portals or main centers of our human body and human being that is basically exit and receiving points for, through the root chakra, the mother, our physical energies, our physical traits and energies and abundance in the physical world. And then the crown is our direct connection to the heavens, to the higher self, to the angelics, where we are receiving divine energy, divine light, and guidance. And then the heart chakra is right there in the center, which is why it's called the heart center, as we call it number 4. If you're doing, up and down with the 7 chakras, it's number 4. And it's in the center of the 7. Therefore, it is that bridge. It is that balancing point of your higher dimensions or your higher energies and emotions and your lower dimensions and your lower energies and lower emotions. So that's how that works. And when we have this stream clear, which is our balance, then we are able to be fluid in all of these chakra centers, allowing the rotation of our Kundalini energy, or our Ida and Pingala, or our prana, to be able to flow continuously. And that's the key is, can you keep your Kundalini, can you keep your prana, can you keep your chi flowing continuously to where it's so continuous, it's on autopilot, and you no longer need to focus on it because it's so clear that your intuitive nature, which is what your intuition is, it's your electromagnetic system being online and flowing through you, connecting you to the higher dimensions. If that's flowing through you, clear, continuously, remembering that we are continuous motion beings, we don't ever stop, truly. We never are actually stagnant. We never in movement or in continuation. Our energy field is always taking in energy and releasing energy. So how are we supporting that? Are we supporting it to be able to be fluid and healthy so that we can shine and radiate, attract? Law of attraction comes from this, comes through our electromagnetism of being a human being. Manifesting comes from this as well. Our ability to bring down and then ground in through the root chakra, the downloads that we get through the crown into our system. Or are we blocked up in the root? So we're getting all these downloads, we have all this knowledge and intellect, but we're feeling scarce. We feel like we don't deserve money. We feel like we can't give our services for money. We feel like we are having a hard time with eating healthier, or we're having a hard time with taking steps in our entrepreneurship. These are signs of having blockages in the lower chakras. So then your downloads or your purpose isn't able to fully integrate into your physical human self. So therefore you see it in this world. Tons of star seeds, super intelligent, super intellectual, very psychic, lack money, lack careers, lack knowing how to really build physical things and build things in the material realm. So beautiful stuff to know. And this stuff is very powerful to integrate, because really it's not about, you know, belief or not belief when it comes to the chakras and what they are with us. It's like when you're going to school and you go study biology of the human being, you know, you study that the human being has, you know, naturally is born with what, 2 eyes, 1 mouth, 2 ears, a nose. It's the same thing with the chakras. Like when you study the chakras, it's just as factual as having 1 mouth as a human being. And it's just a different layer, a different spectrum of your human being that you just can't see with your visible eyes and your 5 senses. But you can tap into it with what we call our 6 senses, which is our senses that are in the light body. And then through those light body senses, we're able to filter it through the 5. And that's just a whole nother thing to talk about.
A whole nother thing, because I went there. The moment you said 6 senses, I went to the movie Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Right? Which, and I'll tell you why I went there, is because the 6th sense is very, if you think about it. Okay, when we go from our lower chakras, right? We go, our root chakra is 1, sacral 2, solar plexus 3, heart chakra 4, throat chakra 5, and our third eye, our sense, this is 6.
Yep.
Okay, this is what this movie taught me back then. Ooh, I'm afraid because I'll see dead people. Ooh, I'm afraid. Be afraid. Be afraid. Your 6th sense, or your third eye, or what I call the first eye, is your intuitive center. It gets you in. It allows you to tap in to the innermost you, and we call it intuition, but it taps into that vibration of you that can see things before you see it, that you can feel things before you feel it. And I'm talking about physical eyes, physical feeling, physical hearing, physicality of speaking. This taps you in to the innermost authentic you that there is there. It's seeping through. But when they made that movie, it scared the shit out of me. Dead people? With this, I could see dead people. It wasn't explained to me, right? But there's so much more to you in vibrationally. We're triune. We truly are triune. When you and sometimes you will never, some people never have to have an awakening moment. They're just tuned in and tapped into their spiritual them. It's and when they get tuned into it, they don't have to tell you I had an awakening moment. All of a sudden you start noticing that they're moving a little differently, they're walking a little differently, they're talking a little differently, they're not them. And then yet we spiritually go, oh, they must have had a soul hopping, soul swapping. No, maybe they had an awakening moment that they didn't verbally have to say anything about. They just, they assimilated, they acclimated, they tapped in, and they grounded themselves, or they anchored themselves, and they just do it naturally. And your third eye or your first eye, if you're allowing yourself to harvest, if you're allowing yourself to plant the seed, if you're allowing yourself to water it, to tend to it, to garden it, to grow, and you become more yourself each and every day. The thing that Marcus said is, with the ray, if you're in there too much, you want to spiritually bypass being human. I don't want to be that anymore. I want to go be my spiritual me, my authentic me. Well, that's okay. If you think your authentic me is only the spiritual me, it's okay. The divine says this is the choice. And what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of people that want to spiritually bypass, and you're not going to understand why they commit suicide. They don't want to be, you could call them starseeds, or you could call them newbies, or you could call them first time souls, or whatever we want to call it. But what happened is they stayed in that root, that ray, that red ray, too long. They stayed there. Doesn't mean they were wrong to do that. They got overactive there. I mean, now when I look at people who commit suicide, I'm not going, oh, poor them. I'm not looking at them like I'm in the Catholic world, well, they'll never get to God. I have to say, because when I was studying with my aunt in Catholicism, that's the first thing I learned, that they'll never go to heaven. They took their own life. They committed a sin. But now that I understand the chakras, I'm understanding it a little more. They just stayed in that too long, and their energies weren't circulating counterclockwise. Did you know your chakras circulate counterclockwise? They don't go the same direction as a clock. They move this way. I notice with myself, I stir my coffee. Everything that I stir it counterclockwise. When I pour my liquids, when I pour creamer into my coffee, it automatically goes counterclockwise, even before I start stirring it. My higher being tuned me into that. When I put lotion on my body, I go this way. Blows your mind, right? Your body automatically knows how to do that. It's talking to you about, hey, listen to me. It's amazing what the divine decided to share with you today. Okay, we got one more reading of one more question. Okay. The questioner says, is it possible for you to use an example of our general pattern? Oh, they're going way back now. And tell me the effect that war had on him in his development. Ra says, I am Ra. This will be the last full question of this working. One of whom you speak, known as George, was one in whom the programming of previous incarnations had created a pattern or inertia which was irresistible in its incarnation in your time space. This entity was a strong yellow ray activation with frequent green ray openings and occasional blue ray openings. Oh, before we leave, Marcus is going to have to explain to us blue ray, right? See, the divine knows what the divine is doing when the divine teaches. All right. However, it did not find itself able to break the mold of previous traumatic experiences of bellicose nature. This entity polarized somewhat towards the positive in its incarnation due to its singleness of belief in truth and beauty. This entity was quite sensitive. It felt a great honor and duty to the preservation of that which was felt by the entity to be true, beautiful, and in need of defense. This entity perceived itself as a gallant figure. It polarized. Ooh, I think I need. I'm excited. Plus, the divine is telling me, chill, bring it down a notch. So I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to bring it down a notch. It felt a great honor and duty to the preservation of that which was felt by the entity to be true, beautiful, and in need of defense. This entity perceived itself as gallant figure. It polarized somewhat towards the negative in its lack of understanding the green ray it carried with it, rejecting the forgiveness principle, which is implicit in universal love. The sum total of this incarnation, vibrantly and vibrationally, isn't in there, but the divine threw it in there. Just threw it out my mouth. So, okay. Vibrantly and vibratorily was a slight increase in positive polarity, but a decrease in harvestability due to the rejection of the law or way of responsibility. And that's a law, the law of responsibility, the law of action. There's infinite laws. We have 7 universal laws, but we have laws that have sub-laws to them. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You can go with the flow of wherever you're flowing to. Okay? Ra says that is seeing universal love, yet still it fought on. So there's some hit or miss rays that this particular entity was moving through. And it was utilizing certain rays or overutilizing them and underutilizing others. So the questioner says, Do we have enough time for me to ask if the death almost immediate, if the death, comma, almost immediately after the succession of war of this entity would have been so that it could immediately be reincarnated so that it could make harvest? So all the questioner is saying, if this entity died immediately after its service to war, could it immediately reincarnate so it could be harvested into a fourth density consciousness? Ross says, this is precisely correct. That's all Ross says. The questioner says, thank you. Then I will just ask if there is anything that we can do to make the instrument that Ra is speaking through, more comfortable or to improve contact. Ra says, I am Ra. All is well. We will leave you, my friends, in the love and the light of the one which is all in all. I leave you in an everlasting peace. Go forth, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite creator, Adonai. The divine wants you to know that that means Ashe, let it be so. And it's unconditional love. This information was given to you, unconditional love. You can take it and utilize it any way you want.
Sound familiar out there, people? I mean,
the reason why Ross says this is precisely correct is the question that the questioner asked. The questioner already had an answer in his head. And Ross said, this is absolutely, let it be so. We already have an idea of what reincarnation is all about. We think it's about generation. We think that at some point everything has to be fixed at a generational incarnation. And we do not realize that our higher beings get to decide if they even want to, when they merge with the divine and give their information, take back their information of how they understand feelings and emotions and how they flow through each of these chakras and how they utilize life, and they bring this back and merge with the divine, and true enough, the divine is merging in, through, and as us, as it is seeking itself in expression of us. But our souls get to make that decision and come back doing it again. It doesn't even have to decide if it wants to do it generational. It's not about my mama. It's not about my daddy. It's not about my great grandfather or they did what they needed to do to bring me into this moment of expression of the divine. But I don't have to wear on my shoulders that I have to fix them. I believe that I have to go to the seat of my soul and ask my soul, why are you here? What are you seeking? Can I help you? Can we work together? Can we have a collaboration? And then go out and if my higher being says yes, which my higher being did, it's done that way back when, and I'm learning through higher being, through ego, and I'm learning that it's okay for me to be a human. That's the only way my higher being is going to learn these lessons that I came here to learn, is for me not to spiritually bypass my humanity. It's okay for me to feel the reality of what fear is. Because once I feel it, I get to let it go. No matter what form it showed up as, I get to let it go. I get to go and sit at the seat of my soul and say, are we done with this contract? Can we move on? It's not easy. Life wasn't promised to be easy. It was just promised to be. But then the divine and all their craziness, all their cosmic mysteriousness, all their cosmic what do you call it? When they mix their concoctions, said, let's give them free will. Let's give them the ability to feel and have emotions. And then you can feel through that. You can actually, if you have a conversation going on, you can know what they're feeling. You can know when they're feeling that they've had enough of some negative shit. Oh, because we just assume that spirit, our spiritual side, knows what feelings and emotions are. They don't come from that. They come from beyond that. They might have felt an incarnation from a different spectrum of light, which we might call another galaxy or whatnot. But they don't know what feelings and emotions are as a human entity. But we've been given all the tools. Yeah, we've been given all the tools. They were put in our backpacks, as I said last weekend and the weekend before that, and before that the backpack was packed. The divine did not forget anything. We just choose which shit we choose to use. And I say it as that because when we pick it up, we don't know what it is. So it's shit to us until we actually start using it and figuring out, oh, that ain't working for me. I got to find out which one works for me. So where is the directions? Where's that paper? Where's the IKEA paper of spirit? Is it in the bottom of my backpack? And then you get people like Marcus and people like Divine Words of Wisdom and people like Soul Awakening with Sandra and just people all over this Instagram and YouTube and people all over Facebook that are awakening and writing books and doing movies and doing all these things. And all of a sudden you start hearing the instructions. And you go, oh, that's where it is. This is raw. Well over 11,000 years have passed since they stepped foot on this planet called Earth. Gave some information. The information was distorted and misused. They found out that they had to leave because, hey, they were interfering with free will. That's what they said. We can't be here. But they didn't leave. They said, nope, Divine, we got this. We're going to stay in our motorhome called Sixth Density Complex Entity. That's their motorhome. And they stayed there till it was time, 1950s, approximately. And then they said to themselves, how are we going to do this without usurping humanity's free will? Oh, we'll channel. And here we are. And they get to tell you, and Ra is always saying, ask your question again. I cannot give you the answer because that usurps humanity's free will. Abraham Hicks does it as well. Ask your question again. Or, do you mean to say? Bashar does it too. Wilhelm does it too. When I channel, the divine does it too. The divine doesn't give me the ability to tell you what it means unless the divine wants me to do it. I don't translate much. Because the divine honors your free will to allow your soul to give you that information. The Book of Ra has 5 books. And the Law of One is written by many. Not just this author. I'd say that the divine wants you to know. Not to judge it, but to take it in and discern it in how you want to use it in your growth, in your expansion, in your shift, in your evolution. And no two entities are going to be the same. Entities meaning you, me, Marcus, and everybody else. We're an expression. We're going to use it differently. So I hope that you take what resonates from today and you allow it to grow you. It doesn't, don't ask Sandee, how should I grow? Ask yourself, your higher being. I'm here to be a vessel to share the energy of wisdom and understanding. I'm here to help you edify, but I can't tell you how to do that. I can give you a suggestion. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I thank you very much for joining us. What episode is this?
21.
21. So that means when you show up on Sunday for episode 22 at 3:33 Pacific Standard Time and 6:33 Eastern Standard Time, you will open yourself up to shifting, to wisdom and understanding, to growth, to expansion, to your evolution. The constant in the universe is change. You're promised nothing else but just to have fun at being a human incarnation. Back to you, Marcus.
Today was a lot of fun, very educational, and just extremely fluid. The energy was just so fluid today. And it was really nice to be able to correlate the chakras with, Ra's downloads. And then just a reminder for all of you guys out there, again, I know I've mentioned it numerous times throughout the series. If you guys really want to learn in depth about the chakras, or you want to be able to get a full in-depth description of how the chakras work and the relation to our human being, check out that series on the YouTube channel, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, Light Body Awareness 101, if you go under playlist. And I really break this stuff down in a very tangible, well thought out, and methodical way where you can understand this from a baseline standpoint and building up into an advanced standpoint. And feel free to reach out to me too if you ever have questions or if you have comments about the content as well. And then you guys can also reach out for one-on-one services with me as well for what I call chakra empowerment, which is where you choose a chakra and then I educate you on it fully, including blockages and overactivations. And then I give you a space to journal and have conscious reflection with myself over any overactivations or blocks in that chakra that you chose. And then we integrate it with a guided meditation that I guide. So if that's something that you're interested in or you think would apply for you, just reach out, and that's a service that we can book anytime as well. And lastly, I just want to give thanks. I want to give thanks to the divine for allowing this to be an opportunity. And I also want to give thanks to all of you that have continued to tap in, join us on this journey, and continue to unfold this beautiful, beautiful knowledge as we continue to integrate and become more in awareness of our true nature, as well as embodying it. And thank you to my co-host, Sandee Marshall, for continuing to be on this journey with me as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Everyone is so welcome. Thank you for joining. I do star meditations on Wednesdays on Instagram, Wednesdays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a group meditation. You just come in and you sit at the seat of your soul. I'm an open vessel with light language, and we go through the chakras as well, and we allow ourselves to sit at the seat of our soul and bring whatever we need to bring that we want to surrender, or that maybe we want more of the goodness that we received, And I do also am now open to doing star meditation one-on-ones. It will be on Thursdays, and it DM me for to schedule the time, and you can get more information. And I would love to allow myself to be a vessel to allow you to open up to yourself. I do the meditations with you. I'm not just guiding you. I'm being part of the meditation. I'm going into myself as you're going into yourself. We do this together, right? I also have a new workshop that I have officially said that I am doing. So it's going to be on Tuesdays. It's a one-on-one workshop. It's called Solutions in Business. A lot of you are starting new businesses, but you haven't dived into who you are and why you want to start them. You're going over the one dogma story, which is I want money. Money solves everything. And then wonder why your business goes belly up at 6 months or belly up at a year. What went wrong? Let's dive into you and your embodiment of you, because you are your brand to your business. You are what your business is reflecting. So it's called Solutions to Business. SOUL. Solutions to Business. DM me. It's one-on-one. Even if you're in business year 2 and you're just not making any money at it, let's start with you and then expand out. And then, of course, join me on Fridays for Soul Conversations with Sandra. Yep, that's right, the podcast. And on Saturdays, Sandee or Soul Talk with Sandee M. About your gifts, your talents, your skills, how you use them in your everyday life and in community. So I got a lot going on. I've grown. This is called growth and expansion. This is going from a fear of diving off that deep end of the diving board into the unknown of me and just letting it expand. Was it easy? No. But was it promised that I would go through change? Yes. Thank you for joining me.
Beautiful. Love the opportunities. Definitely suggest it for any of you guys out there. I would just love to be a part of more of this type of energy. And then for everybody out there, have a blessed and beautiful day. Last thing I also have a reminder of is coming up this Saturday at 4:44 p.m. Eastern. I will be holding a throat chakra empowerment free donation-based workshop online. And if you guys want the link to that, just let me know, as we'll be covering the throat chakra, going over some blockages and overactivations, and then a throat chakra meditation. So let me know if you're interested, direct message, and I will send the link. Everybody, have a blessed and beautiful day. Thank you for the support, and we'll see you guys on Sunday.
One love.
One love.
Join Marcus Christolight for a transformative throat chakra flow shop on August 24th at 4:44 p.m. EST. Dive deep into understanding your throat chakra. Learn about blockages, overactivations, and how they impact your life. In this free, donation-based session, you'll engage in reflective journaling to identify and release your own blocks. Plus, Marcus will guide you through a powerful throat chakra clearing meditation. Feel the liberation of true self-expression and clear communication. Don't miss this chance to empower your voice and speak your truth. Sign up now at sacredlight33.as.me or DM us directly for the room link. Your voice is your power. Let's amplify it together.
Join me, Marcus Christolight, Saturday the 24th at 4:44 p.m. Eastern for an online free donation-based throat chakra empowerment flow shop. We will learn about the throat chakra, how to identify blockages and overactivations, journal, as well as do a guided meditation. Free donation-based, you may sign up at sacredlight33.as.me or direct message me to get the link. Ashe.